Hey there, Adam here. I'm doing an update on our law firm website SEO project, which I said I was going to do every month. So I decided what would make the most sense is just wait till the end of each month. So I'm going to do this is going to be an update from May to show you where the website's at after a month. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is doing a month by month comparison to show you from the last month and just talk also about what I did. So let's start off with what people will probably find the most interesting. Let's start off with the results, month over month comparison. So here you're going to see my analytics account. You will notice that there was a 13% unique page views increase, which is pretty nice. Hard to complain about that. You will also find that I So let's just search. I think one of the most interesting things to look at is the absolute change to see which pages got the most up and the most down. So you'll see that our medical malpractice pages, some of our about pages, but a lot of it was medical malpractice, is had the most dramatic increase in total amount of clicks, which is interesting because I didn't actually do much with the medical malpractice pages this month, but they were up a good bit for whatever reason. You'll see specific pages for like gallbladder, laparoscopic surgery, injuries, and then this is an actual blog post that I did back in, I want to say, let me kill that. That's annoying. I did that back in, I think, March was when I did that. So that one went from 3 to 10. This is a great page. Underinsured, uninsured motorist. Cases are very high value on average. So pretty happy with that. So that one was up 7 clicks. And I don't think many of the other actual blog pages were up a bunch. So we went from 0 to 5 on vicarious liability, also pretty good. We had a news post which got a few clicks, and then other than that, these are not much of an absolute change. So then let's show which ones lost the most traffic, because some of them still went down. So the one that lost the most traffic overall was about 30 clicks on the homepage. Not sure why. It's sort of interesting. And then you'll see I had a 404 error on a medical malpractice thing, which maybe this explains why the medical malpractice is up. This had a 404 issue with one of the pages, fixed it, so it went from 10 404s last in whatever month that was. What's before May? April. So it went from 10 404 errors on that in April to 0 in May. And then a little bit of down on a couple other things, another 404 issue. So a lot of this is just 404 cleanup stuff. I had the biggest changes, plus the homepage was down a bit. So that is the stats. Now let me show you the Google Search Console. So you'll see this is for the last 3 months. Nothing really, no big changes in impressions or in clicks. You will see this is probably, will show you what I've been working on. So if we look at the index total number of pages, so if you look from beginning of the month, May 1st, 64 pages indexed on May 4th, and let's see, 164. So we went from 62, added 100 pages were indexed. I think there's still a few that Google has not indexed yet. These pages were obviously indexed very quickly because it's an old website. It's been around for, I think, like 20 years at this point. So Google checks it pretty often and will index rather quickly. So that is a lot of new pages. So these have obviously been up for less than a month, and it is going to be some time before they have any impact on the traffic. I've seen usually about 3 months minimum before you really see anything, and then another 3 months before it seems to stabilize out at wherever it's going to be. So almost tripled the size of the website in the course of 30 days. So I spent a lot of time working on this month. So let me show you where I was working on the actual website, if I could spell. So most of the changes were on the blog page. There are a ton of new blog posts, probably about 100 new blog posts. You can just go to Mountain Verdict blog, and I have the dates. So you can scroll through. They are all accessible. Probably should have a little thing to skip. But there are a bunch of new blog posts. these were mostly done with AI to do the first draft. I'd say 95% of them had an AI first draft, and then I edited them all personally after the AI first draft, and then I posted them. Most of the edits came in the form of incorrect legal conclusions. So a good portion of the time, it said something that was absolutely backwards from the way that the law actually reads. So you really do have to proofread anything that you generate using AI. This is generated using mostly GPT-4 through byline.ai. So that was that, and then also uses terms like specialize, which we cannot use the word specialize in North Carolina as personal injury lawyers. There's just a weird ethical thing behind that. So I had to Control F find every place that the word specialized pops up and change it to something else. So I did a lot of blog posts. I also fixed some of our about page stuff. We were missing a couple of the newer employees did not have bio pages, so we added those, cleaned it up. So that's just sort of real basic stuff. And then the biggest other change I had was I added this on the sitemap this thing called areas we serve. So you'll see that we have these are all in Western North Carolina. Asheville is the biggest one. Waynesville's where our home office is, and then Black Mountain's east of Asheville. Hendersonville's south of Asheville. Franklin and Silva are both west of Asheville. So these are sort of the biggest towns in Western North Carolina. And I have individual pages for the practice areas for motorcycle, medical malpractice, wrongful death, trucking, and car accidents. For each one of these, I did individual pages, trying to get hits on the local SEO map, which, well, not the map itself, but I guess local SEO searches. So we do show up on the local map for Asheville and Waynesville because we have actual physical addresses. We do not have physical addresses in the locations, and I've been using SEMrush to clean it up. Let me show you what I mean. So let's go to the heat map. So this is for Asheville. So this is our Asheville address. And this is for if you like type in Google Maps, personal injury lawyer or something, it will look at your specific location and then it will give you results. So, for example, let's use, I don't know, trucking accidents. So, trucking accidents, our office is right in here. So, we are ranked number 2 at 3, and then the further away you get from our actual location, the lower we are in the results. So, like one that we rank really high for is medical malpractice. As you can see, if you're in Asheville, other than the actual downtown portion of it, you're gonna get number 1. But it's pretty fascinating how close in location you have to be to have to show up. So that's why perhaps it would make more sense to have an address right down in the middle of downtown Asheville. It really just goes to show how important locality is. We get a lot of hits off of Google Maps. So let me show you a couple of other ones in case you're interested. Personal injury ones. We don't even rank in downtown really. If you're not top 10, no one's going to look at you. Pedestrian is okay. Estate litigation, I just now started. Car accident, okay. Hit and run, not ranking. Uber, not ranking. Wrongful death, not ranking. Drunk driving, not ranking. Truck accidents, this is the one I was actually focused on quite a bit. It is down this week. It was up some last week. This one is pretty high average value of cases. So that is what I have been working on. I've also been adding for listing managements. I have cleaned up all the directories. So I think I had like 5 directories before. I've used the SEMrush directory tool to update everything. I now have 65. And again, this was all in the last month. So most of the stuff is not going to show up in the results at this point in time because it's just too new. So, this is all work that I suspect will start to have dividends in the months to come. But that really sort of is everything I wanted to cover. I don't know that anything that I did in this month resulted in this increase in page views. I checked it year over year just out of curiosity. It's also up about 10% over May of last year. So it's the seasonality is not impacting it. It's just up a bit overall. But again, I think that I did some posts back in March, and February, which you saw a couple of those things, like the spousal injury one, the vicarious liability, etc. Those are all a bit older than the rest of the posts, which is why they're starting to get some traffic. I expect it'll probably be another 2 months before I start to see any large impact from any of these new pages. Again, it's a lot of new content. You triple the size of a website over the course of a month. Hard to say what Google is going to do with it. This is experimental to some degree, not to some degree, because more content, more topics, as long as it's all within the same topical background, it should work just fine. Our bounce rate is worse than it was before, which also makes sense. I think overall, I think the bounce rate is going to increase by a good bit. Average page time is going to decrease. I think we're going to get more. It's these topics are less focused on commercial intent. It's more informational type content. It's more supporting materials, so it's less focused on getting somebody who is just in a car wreck to give us a call. It's building some trust and authority and name recognition. So it's a longer term play, but longer term play is absolutely worth it in this industry. I don't have that much gray hair yet. Maybe you see a little bit. So I got a long time to go before to do this job. So I hope that this was interesting. I'm gonna keep doing these each month. Even if it's just to keep track of it for my own later benefit. I think that it's pretty interesting just to get I guess in the moment sort of thoughts about the current progress of the website. And I have not seen any negative impacts from using AI. I think one of those that I from March, I believe, I used GPT 4 or 3.5 to do a good bit of the writing. So I think that it's not getting penalized. Is I guess my point. All right. Thanks so much for listening. And I guess just check back in about a month, and I should have another one up for you. Thanks. Bye.